All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Big, Hairy American F1 podcast. We're here to bring some freedom to a podcast scene in desperate need of liberation. My name is Shane. I'll be your host and moderator, so join me and my three best friends as we talk about a sport that three of us love and one of us is willing to give a try. For too long, Europe has used soccer as a veil to cover up the good sports. Today, I say no more. Keep your damn soccer. We're here for your cars and your drivers. I'm going to start by giving our single viewer for the first week a quick intro to the crew around here. So if everyone can go around and do a quick name and shout out as to who their favorite driver and their favorite team is, and we can go from there, just so everyone gets a sense of where we're all at. So, Allie, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, I am Allie. My current favorite driver is going to be Yuki Tsunoda on RB Racing Bull. And what was it? What do I want?
Your constructor, your team.
Oh, it's going to be a toss-up between
It doesn't have to be the same as your driver.
Everyone. Yeah. My team is McLaren for this year, for the 2025 season.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit Drew.
All right, I'm Drew. This is gonna make it, but my driver has always been Verstappen. I'll explain myself later. Yeah, I know. And I guess the constructors is gonna follow that up. I'm a Red Bull guy.
Anyways. Nick, let's talk to you next. What's up, buddy?
What's up? I'm Nick. You might also hear me referred to as Gatch on this podcast. But I'm going to say Norris just because in the very brief F1 interest that I had last time, I knew Max was running the whole thing. And I don't really like when one person is running everything. So I'm going to say Norris because I want him to take down Verstappen. And I'll say McLaren too.
Hell yeah. Wow, this is a McLaren-friendly podcast. I actually didn't even know that. I am also a McLaren guy myself. Norris is pretty sweet, but honestly, I kind of find myself liking Piastri. He's pretty rad and very cool as a cucumber, as they both are. So that's where I'm coming from. So rad. That's our new little our crew here. Next, we'll get into some of our notes here for the season. I know Gatch has been a new watcher himself, but there's been a lot of switch-ups this year as far as rookies coming in and stuff like that. So, big news. I just want to kind of go over the swaps, and we can kind of talk about them real quick before we get into Australian GP news. We've got Lawson taking over for Checo Perez at Red Bull this season. Big news. Any thoughts real quick before we're going to come back to this stuff, but if anyone wants to jump in, let me know.
As the Red Bull guy, I'll say something here. I think it's a good move. Checo, I liked him, but he clearly wasn't performing. To be fair, neither really has lost him, but we'll get to that later. I think it's some youth that Red Bull needs.
Give him some time.
Well, I personally think it should have been Yuki, but
I'm there as well, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a Yuki fan podcast for sure.
This is a Yuki-friendly
Pro
podcast.
Yuki.
Any hate?
My bad. From an outside perspective, seeing that first race, it just seems like a crazy difference between Max and Lawson.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's like normal for like one driver on a team to be like so much better than the other one, because I know McLaren are like right next to each other. But from an outside perspective, it seems like Lawson's kind of ass on the Red Bull team.
Yeah, I would definitely argue Max makes everyone look like a bitch, but you're not wrong. he's
Yeah.
he's been the teammate killer. This is a long line of teammates who have come and not put up remotely as good results as Max and been demoted. But this
Mhm.
is week one. You know, shit happens. He's getting used to the car. Let's give it some time before we really decide on Lawson. I
And a
think.
crazy week.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that was
all can be
crazy.
said for this one week. I mean, I
Craziness.
still would prefer Yuki in the seat, but
Yeah.
I think Lawson's a great driver. He has time to, make it up. And obviously, the race that ensued was difficult for everyone. So we shall definitely see.
Yes, and we'll return to that. Uh, Next, I'm going to head over to Mercedes. We've got Antonelli taking over for Lewis. That's a big deal. I don't know how much Gatch has heard about this guy, but he is a prodigy. Antonelli is supposed to be the next Max Verstappen, essentially. So, big things to come, but he's obviously stepping into big shoes, taking over for Lewis. Any quick thoughts there?
I
I
think that,
was.
go ahead, Drew.
Oh man.
Take
All
it
right.
over.
Okay. So Antonelli, I think he did an astonishing job. This first race when all the other um, noobs really couldn't do anything. He shined like a shooting star.
For sure.
I agree with that, Drew. And I'm a first time hater, so I feel
Yeah.
like I'm quick to judge people. But I do think that he performed, from even like the couple of practices and the qualifying and everything, he performed best out of the rookies. But I see good stuff for him in the future.
Well, we'll get into predictions later too. I definitely want to talk about the him versus Russell battle. That's a big note for me. So next we've got Hamilton coming over to Ferrari and taking over for Sainz. Obviously, I think this is also a Sainz loving podcast. We all feel the dude kind of got the shaft, but here he
Mm.
is driving for Williams. Hamilton steps into his seat. Any thoughts? We'll start with Drew. We'll go Allie and then Gatch. We'll just do that order every time.
All right. All right. I think it's a necessary step for every great F1 driver, honestly, to finish out your career as a Ferrari driver. I really hope he does well. I used to hate Hamilton just because he was a part of Mercedes, and yeah, I just hope he does well. He looked promising in practice. He didn't really do all that well in the race, so I just hope he has a good season.
Yeah, I feel like Hamilton just has to get used to the car. Um, Everybody has like a learning curve to everything, so I know he'll be good at some point. I think that Ferrari is yeah a good place to kind of finish off your career if that's where he's headed to. But obviously, Sainz is my Shayla, and I love him so much. But I think that he's going to be great for Williams, and I think that he's going to kind of put them back on the map. So
Yeah, again, outside perspective, Lewis Hamilton's like one of the only names I knew in F1 racing before even like getting into it a little bit, just because he's like so well known. So I know he's got like the skills to be a good driver on a new team, but that first race, man, bro performed like hot ass.
Yeah, that
Not
was
gonna lie. Like if I didn't know he was a good driver beforehand, I'd be like, wow, this guy sucks.
looks good in red though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, true.
red is
Like at one point, I don't know if we want to like revisit this later or not, but
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
okay, I'll hold off then.
All right, all right, word. So next on the little graphic I'm looking at, we've got Norris and Piastri. Obviously, no changes there. I personally feel that's the strongest lineup in the grid. I don't know if anyone disagrees,
I could
but
agree with that.
I
Yeah.
think looking at
100%.
Hamilton and Leclerc is the only thing that even comes close, honestly, in my opinion. So, yeah, they're
yeah,
looking strong,
totally.
strong at the gate through practice, through season startup. Like they're looking good. So, team to beat for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're the fastest cars on there to
No
start. But
surprise.
yeah,
Yeah.
But then again, we cannot base it off of the first race.
Well, speaking of drivers that are hot dookie ass, next up is Alonso and Stroll. So Aston Martin, obviously no changes there. We'll get into season predictions later, but I don't think any of us are expecting too much out of them this season. Next season will definitely be something to keep out for, but for now, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Then we've got Doohan stepping in for Esteban Ocon over at Alpine with Gasly. Doohan is a weird one. I don't really feel much about him personally. He's been kind of unimpressive, and honestly, it seems like he's already got one foot out the door, if you ask my opinion. But we'll go down the line real quick. Any thoughts on Doohan?
I have zero thoughts on Doohan.
I was gonna say, hard to have
any-
much thought. He's a rookie and he was out by turn 5. It's not.
Yeah.
There's not much
Nope.
to think about him.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I don't have much. I mean, was he the Alpine reserve driver, or was he a different reserve? Okay.
And he got a couple
So it makes
practices in
sense.
last year, so he was the natural step. But
Yes.
I mean, I hope they tried.
The
well,
right step? I don't
They
know.
did try to sign Signs. I was gonna say I hope they tried because he was the one. But
I'm sure they just did not have.
I'm just glad he's not
Noah.
French.
yeah. Which obviously brings us down to Williams with our big signing of Sainz. So Albon and Sainz, another super strong driver pairing. Maybe not S tier, but definitely A+ tier. Any big thoughts on the Albon versus Sainz for the season? Like, we can get
I'm
into who
honestly-
you think's gonna come out on top later. That's definitely.
I'm honestly just rooting for these guys, dude. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I wanna see Williams do really
ultimate-
well.
Yeah, the ultimate underdog lineup, I think, on Williams.
And now, Gatch, I know you're a little new, but Williams and Ferrari Ferrari's the oldest standing team, followed by Williams and then McLaren. So they're definitely the teams with the most history. So I think, most F1 fans really want to see Williams do well, whether they're doing well or not. Same with Ferrari, for that matter. I think everyone likes to see Ferrari cooking, but... Next up, we've got Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar. Again, quick little number about him. Seems like an absolute prodigy coming out of the F3 and F2 series. He's no Antonelli, but people are talking about him like he could really be quick. Obviously looked good in race 1 until he crashed out. We'll get into that later.
Hadjar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went off right away, didn't he?
Yep.
He was the first one off the track.
Yeah,
He
you're
went off
right.
in the formation lap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But
He looked good for those 2 turns.
well, he looked good in qualifying.
Yeah, like what are we talking
He
about?
looked good in qualifying, I guess, is what I meant. I mean, he had a
Yeah,
good starting
yeah.
position. He was looking good throughout the weekend, and then just totally binned it. But
Dude, my heart
But he
absolutely
sucks.
breaks
Yeah.
for him, dude.
Yeah,
that was so bad.
we can skip over Hadjar. We'll come right back because that's going to be one of the first things we talk
Oh, yeah.
about.
We're coming right back. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we've got Kick Sauber. We've got Hulkenberg stepping in, as well as Gabriel Bortoleto. My quick thoughts: Hulk's fast. Looking forward to seeing what he can do, but this is definitely just an Audi team in the weights, and I don't expect a single point, minus the ones they got at this race, for the rest of the season.
I was gonna say.
I honestly am not expecting a ton out of them. They're looking pretty mid. Although the last team on the list here is much worse. But we'll finish off Kick Sauber. Anyone got any feelings on Bortoleto or Hulk?
I'm always looking forward to Berg putting in some good times. But Bortoleto, don't know anything about him. Didn't really see him race. So
Yeah, it's hard to form an opinion about a driver I don't really know about who like touches the wall. So
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
As far as I know, Bortoleto was the champion. He got P1 for F2, right? He was the winner, right? Am I? Am I
You're
accurate
gonna
in
have
I
to
don't
that?
know
talk
if
to
we
someone who
backtrack you.
actually watches F2. Okay.
All I know is he kissed the wall this race.
Come on, guys. We didn't put any
me
any
putting in minimal
in
effort
looking
into
at
this.
it.
Yeah, no, I have no idea where
Well,
this
okay.
guy finished in F2.
So-
Sorry.
Okay, so take my word with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure he placed first in Formula 2, and
Okay.
Hajar came in second.
All
So-
right, so I was mistaken. That's my bad.
So he's supposedly good. Obviously, he's driving a kick. It's not Audi yet, so I think that, it's naturally not going to be a great probably season for them until they switch over, but he put in some promising kind of, stuff in, practice and whatnot. So I have some hopes, not high, but as high as I can for kick. I have it.
Wait, I have a question that I just noticed.
Yeah, hit it.
Yeah.
Are there 2 Red Bull teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems unfair.
So this is a quick little like
Blurb.
they kind of use it as a farm team, for lack of a better word. They will basically, Sonoda is their benchmark, and they've had the last like 4 or 5 drivers from the Red Bull program go through that team. It's had several different names over the years, so I hesitate to call it anything. But
Racing Bulls.
yeah, basically it was Alpha Tauri, Racing Bull. I mean, it's been everything. So, but that's basically their farm team, and they don't have as much money as Red Bull, and they definitely don't put in as much money, and they definitely don't expect as much out of them. But it's kind of like a trial run to see if you're good enough to get to the regular Red Bull team. For
Gotcha.
in a quick sum, and that's like obviously boiling it down, but that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Williams
It's a little
also
absurd.
functions a similar way for Mercedes,
Mhm.
and Haas functions a similar way for Ferrari. So
Gotcha.
they're all buying parts off of the, upper team and then using them in their car, and then they kind of just, whenever they get called up, those drivers leave and go to the better team.
It's more like bad teams get no money and ask for funding from bigger teams,
Yes.
and they're like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, sure, and then for that they get a farm team kind of they
Yeah.
they get some loyalty.
Yeah. It's the Lexus and Toyota, Acura, Honda,
Well put.
smaller sister.
Anyways, real quick, last one is Oliver Bearman and Esteban Ocon in the Haas. So obviously 2 new drivers there for Haas this season. Big changes. Personally, Ocon was a great signing. I think Alpine was kind of chumps for letting him go. Outside of the fact that him and Gasly were not getting along, I think he's kind of a stud. Maybe not a stud, but he's a solid B+. I like him.
Dude,
And Bearman we'll see. So,
I
remains to be seen.
I don't think I ever told anyone this yet, but like I absolutely hate Ocon.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I listen. I mean, I don't know if it's because he's French, but he seems like just a smug bastard. I don't know.
This is an
That's it.
anti-French podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Bunch
No.
of- It's a
American
bunch of
home.
there's a bunch of F1 drivers. They're all
I'm
smug
French
bastards.
Canadian.
man.
I mean, yeah. Oh man.
No.
All
I
right.
don't hate anybody.
I was gonna say, any other thoughts on Bearman, or should I just should we pop on into race?
No.
two?
Cool name.
I just feel bad
It
for
is.
him. But
He looks like he's 14, dude.
I purposely put the space between bear and man because that's what he is. He's a bear man.
Fair man.
yes, indeed.
All right. So obviously, that was a good little recap of where everyone's at for the season, how we're thinking about things. I was just gonna jump into race recap next. Does that sound good to everyone? Or
Yeah.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
do it.
all right. And please feel free to stop me, jump in. I'll pause for questions. However much, we'll figure it out. So, race 1, Australian GP. Lawson and Bearman starting from the pit lane. Obviously, kind of sucks for them. Bearman was because he had 2 destroyed cars during practice and had to start back there. I actually don't know if I have it written down why Lawson was starting. Does anyone else know why he was pit lane?
I think there's a electronic issue with his car.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had to, swap parts, and that'll set him back. So quickly, Gatch, for you, when they give a penalty pre-race, if it can't be applied with like a time second, they will normally start from the pit lane, basically below P20. It's like a super disadvantage because you don't get to like start at the same time as everyone. You have to wait for them all to go by, and then you can gun it.
So if you wreck your car in practice, you get a penalty for future races.
The
It can
penalty,
be if you,
yeah, the penalty system's a little weird.
I
if you
think
make
it's
like
a violation of
adjustments to
parc
the
ferme,
car.
dude. If they so you can't change your setup from qualification
Yes.
or in between qualification and the actual race, or else everyone would be setting their car up for quali and then doing it for the race. So if you crash or something goes wrong in quali, that's the penalty for it. You have to start from the pit lane, I believe.
Guys, we're gonna have to
I
redo
see.
the regulation playbook.
Well, you know, we don't all have to become FIA representatives. It's okay, you know.
I don't want to become that.
Yeah, it's also really confusing, and they can just tell me what's happening, and I'll, you know, it's
A bunch
fine.
of lawyers,
I
dude,
think
running this
they're
thing. Yeah.
confused.
This podcast isn't about brains, okay? That's not what we're here for. We're here to have a good time, chat sports, F1.
And thus we are. And
Yes.
thus we are.
Okay, so anyways, Lawson and Behrman starting pit lane. Sucks for them. And then I kind of wrote down here the F1 title cards. I thought maybe we should talk about them for a second, mostly because I hate George Russell a lot. I feel very strongly that he's trying to keep this T-posing meme alive,
iconic.
and I hate him, and I already hated him, and that made me want to punch him, I think. So, yeah, this is me airing my grievances about George Russell. Not a fan, especially not after the new intro. He sucks, and I hope that Antonelli mops the floor with him this season.
Dude, that'd be great. That'd be great.
That would be good. But I don't hate anybody.
Any other thoughts on F1 intros this year? The little intro song title.
I feel
Wait,
like
are
it
we?
was like AI.
It was pretty whack. It was a little weird this season.
Fernando's looked strange. I don't know why. It just
Yep.
popped out at me, and nobody else's did, except for like George. But that just made sense to me.
Yeah, the
why he
George
did
one
that.
really pissed me off. I don't know. I just had to bring
We
it
Fernando
all
Alonso
been there,
looks
done
sexy
that.
though.
Listen, I've been to the F1 arcade. I did the T pose within their little
Ooh.
thing that they had, the entryway, and I had to do it.
That's sick, actually. We should
Yeah.
go sometime.
We should.
100%. We should watch a race there. But
Oh, hell yeah.
regardless,
Ooh.
All right. Anyways.
I've been there. Me, Ali, and Nikki went once.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go.
it was very
Are we revisiting like starting placements? Are you still talking about starting placements?
I was mostly just gonna talk about those two starting pit lane, but if you've got
Okay,
anything else, please.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yes, please.
That is the farthest Max has started back since 2019.
Whoa, shit.
research.
Is it really?
Yep, and he started third.
No, that can't be true. Because
So,
he's
Dude.
dude.
It
In a
is.
race, though, I don't know. That
with
probably
penalty,
is
maybe
true.
before penalties or something, but he's got to have
Yeah,
like
no,
a pit lane
he's
starter
definitely
too in
had
there.
grid lane penalties for like
Bro, I'm telling you, I watched the recap. That was like the first thing the narrator dude said.
Oh, Will Buxton. If Will Buxton says it,
Dude,
then
I wish we had a Jamie to pull that clip right now. I don't know.
I'm telling you, bro. I wrote it down as he said it.
Jamie, pull that up.
I'm not. I feel like I believe it.
maybe
I don't know.
without grid
Don't
penalties.
get me
yeah.
wrong. Yeah, again, qualifying.
Qualifying.
I agree.
I don't know
yeah.
if he's ever. Yeah,
Buy
if he's
that.
ever placed that far back in qualifying, I don't think so. I don't know. I can't. I mean, I haven't been in Formula One for.
I'm not going to be
long,
one to
but
tell you your Max Verstappen godlike stats are wrong because they're probably right.
they're probably
Listeners,
right.
listeners, let
Unbelievable.
us know who's right in the comments, listeners.
Yeah,
Let us
listeners
know.
beware.
Let us know.
Listener,
All right. Anything else on that? That is a wild stat if true. I'm gonna definitely look into that, but that's fucking crazy. Anything else?
starting
Anyone
line?
else got anything on starting positions?
I love Yuki, and he did so great
True.
in qualifying. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I honestly didn't do too much qualification. I mean, I watched it, but I didn't do a lot of notes on it, just because didn't feel necessary. There's so much to talk
Well,
about
if
in
you
week
want me
one.
to run down the qualifying, I can give you the lineup of the qualifying. I took screenshots of it.
Yeah, sure. Hit us with it.
All right, so we have Lando, Oscar, Max, George, Yuki, Alex Albon, Charles, Lewis, Pierre, Carlos, and then in 11th, oh, wait, yeah, okay. We have Isaac, then Fernando, Lance, Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoletto, Kimi Antonelli in 16th, Nico in 17th, Liam in 18th, Esteban in 19th, and then Ollie did not place.
That was my beer noise.
Albon got me bricked up.
That was very impressive.
That was sick.
And I love that.
And I mean, we could talk about it in predictions later for the rest of the season, but my God, Williams might be cooking with something. They are
I
looking
think
good.
they are.
I'm very excited about them.
I'm just excited to have more teams in the front.
Yeah, big time.
Makes it more interesting.
More competitive is always good
Mhm.
for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So hopping into race review now. We have I've got Hajar out in the formation lap. I did write probably not his fault. I do agree with that sentiment still. It's rainy out there. It's slick. He's a rookie getting used to a new car. He's never driven an F1 with wet tires in the rain.
It's absolutely his fault.
It's brutal. I wrote probably not his fault. Still hilarious. Although I did put an asterisk on that about 5 minutes later that said it's becoming pretty fucking sad, actually. This is no longer
Very
hilarious.
Dude,
So-
MVP was Mr. Hamilton, old man Hamilton, dude. What a
He
guy.
was Anthony.
Oh man.
What
Yeah,
a great dad. Not a host Verstappen.
Yeah, yas.
That was very kind of him.
Yeah, it's great to
Yeah.
see. I don't know if you guys heard any of this after the race thing. Apparently, Helmut Marko came out and said it was a little embarrassing that he was crying.
I saw that.
He was like, "Oh, fucking crier on my team. I don't want that." So
Right.
it's like,
That'd be me.
you know, I don't know if that has any implications toward going forward. If there's someone else waiting in the wings that they're planning on promoting if this doesn't work out. But kind of interesting to hear from Marco.
Yeah. I think it was a little bit tough.
Yeah.
I don't think any grown man should be crying on TV, dude. I don't care.
You know,
I
I was gonna say
understand.
I don't disagree with
I
Helmut
don't.
in this particular circumstance, although I do on pretty much
Okay, but-
everything else.
But put yourself in Isaac's shoes. I mean, this is the
Hey.
first Formula
Dude.
One race that you've ever been in.
I don't disagree.
Lots of anxiety.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't have cried. Just keep your visor down and all.
He
Well-
did make it very noticeable that
What
he
is he
was
like?
happy.
20 years old or something too?
Yeah,
So-
he's young. He's
Grown
like
man.
19. I don't even think
He's a
he's
grown
20.
man.
He's
After 18,
not
you're
a
grown.
grown man.
Grown
Uh-uh. He's a kid, and obviously that's a very traumatic and sad and embarrassing thing to happen. So I understand why he was so. I mean, he kept it going for a while, but
Are we all willing to give Hajar the benefit of the doubt and say that was a fluke, and we'll see what he can do next week at least?
I don't,
I don't think we have a choice but to.
No.
I think we have to.
No, fuck this
Come
guy.
on, it was
I'm anti-Hajar
What?
already, bro. Hajar, Doohan,
I love that.
two rookies out by turn 5, bro. Get them out of here.
I love that.
I know, but Carlos,
Oh
him
my
off the
God, I
track.
love that. All right.
Carlos.
So we'll keep ripping, but it sounds like we're not so sold on Hajar yet. It was good
I
to
don't
see.
know. I'm sold on him.
It was good to see Anthony Hamilton, as you guys said before, out there,
Dude.
giving him a good cuddle. That was nice.
I'm looking at it right now. It says DNF. It should be DNS. It did not start.
So next big thing I have, obviously I like to do, I mean, most exciting part of the race for me personally, the start. So quick off the start, looked like Max was going to maybe overtake one, maybe both of the McLarens. He definitely got the better of Oscar, but Norris gave a huge wiggle. I wrote big all caps "fuck you, Max." That's how I feel about that. But he was able to not bin the start for the first time in probably 2 seasons or so.
Yes.
That was really nice to see Norris stay in the lead when he had P1. So
I think the rain helped him.
yeah, I don't disagree.
I don't know.
Norris
I
is
think
really
Max might
bad at
be.
the start.
He is.
Really
But I
bad.
don't know. Max is good in the rain, so I feel like it could have like cross canceled. I don't know.
On like lap 18, Piastri cut off Max and got in front of him.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the like helmet comms that about the water that they were talking about?
I heard it from Leclerc.
with Leclerc.
He's like,
yeah.
yeah, Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear
It's
that?
water.
Yeah, that's a good one. We'll
It's water. It must be water.
Just guess it's all the water, dude. Yeah.
What's with
Yeah,
this
we'll get
water? Oh, it's probably water. I don't know.
Next up after that start, we made it to turn all the way through 4 more turns before Jack
Wow.
Doohan sent it
Yep.
right off the side. I wrote rookie bloodbath, just brutal to see. But this is what separates the men from the boys. So, you gotta have it happen. Later that lap, also in the starting lap, signs, boom, out, gone. A little bit tougher to see from him.
Sad.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to talk about. I mean, we had 3 people out before lap 1 was even over. So
I'll just say this. From what I've heard, it's not so much like swapping teams and like the feel of the cars. It's more of like what you're doing on the steering wheel, because all the buttons are different. What they call it's different. Like at least that's what I was hearing from like them talking about
Like
Lewis
Lewis,
being at Ferrari. So like you're already worried about all the little knobs you're pushing and touching on the steering wheel, and to layer rain on top of that, I could see it from Carlos. Like that's a new car for him. The Mercedes, I mean, not the Mercedes. The Williams steering wheel has always been junk to look at. Yeah, that's just where I stand on that. I don't find it that surprising.
When signs went off, he said he felt like he got a massive torque surge.
Yeah.
yeah, I did hear that. I wonder if that was him covering his ass or if that was for real.
I feel like he would. I don't know. He just seems like a truth speaker. So I feel like, I mean, he's done this for a while. I feel like he wouldn't really just like be like, oh yeah, it was the torque that did me in. He was looking so good for qualifying and in practices, and I mean qualifying not so much because he got in 10th, but real practice he was looking great. So I feel like it might have been a car issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't think anyone is expecting him to make that mistake next week, so it'll be fun to see, the battle between him and Albon and where that goes. I think a lot of people have their money on signs, but I think that'll be, especially after the head start that Albon has now with a P4, might be kind of hard to catch up. We'll see. Next up, I've got lap 15. This is where I just took a quick note to mention that McLaren and Max were absolutely ripping. They were full 7 seconds ahead of Russell in P4, and that was literally at lap 15. So we've got what I'm thinking is probably a 3-way fight for the championship this year. We can get into that later, but it looks like McLaren and Max is really going to be going at it. Very fun to see.
I feel like not really anything new there.
Yeah, but it's a little, it was kind of sad to see.
It's close.
Yeah, it was sad to see Mercedes that far behind. I think that's what bothered me, because I thought we were going to be having kind of a 3, maybe 4-way fight for a title this year, and it seems like, well, constructor title, but it seems like it's really between 3 or 4 drivers. So, but
I expected Ferrari to be a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
was
better,
gonna
dude.
say.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I know quali kind of had them starting further back,
for sure, there's plenty of
but like race pace wasn't even that great.
there's plenty of season too, and like these more richer teams, they're all better with development and stuff like that as the season goes. So it'll be interesting to see who can out-develop each other. Clearly McLaren's leading right now, but we'll see where that goes going forward.
I mean, they all have like price caps, right? So they can't they could overspend, but it's gonna penalize them.
Yeah, I don't think too many people would be trying to overspend, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's so early in the season that they're going to be spending like crazy right now. They'll tighten down the wallets later.
Sure.
This is also the point in the race, lap 15-ish, that I took a note to mention that Hamilton was already having Ferrari issues over the radio. This was when he said, "Leave me to it, please," quote unquote. So he's clearly not getting along with his new engineer. Possibly trouble in paradise there. After however many years with his last engineer, it's not super surprising, but it's definitely interesting to see.
Dude, the Ferrari engineers are always dumbasses anyways. Like, I don't know what he was expecting. Yeah.
Pretty
They
bad.
don't sound like they kind of know stuff, but I mean,
and-
he was used to Bono for so long that I'm sure that's just adds to the anxiety of a new car and new steering wheel, a new engineer, and everything like that.
For sure. And I'm sure you guys all heard the engineer telling him to press the K1 button repeatedly.
Yeah.
To which he kept replying, "I know how to fucking drive. Leave me alone," which was pretty funny to hear. I mean, honestly, hearing an engineer at all from Ferrari try and coach Lewis Hamilton is a little ridiculous. You've got a champion here, a multi-time champion, and you're sitting here with your thumb up your butt with these
in buttons.
awful radio messages telling this guy how to drive. It's kind of pathetic. I feel like he should probably be his own engineer at this point. But pretty hilarious
I don't
to
know.
watch.
After his performance, maybe he should have listened to someone else's fucking advice.
Dude, maybe he should have
Ooh,
pressed
hey.
K1.
Maybe he should have, dude.
Bro's pressing K2 the whole time.
I love that the guy who's new to this is like, this guy sucks.
Dude, I mean,
Unbiased
don't
opinion.
talk shit to your engineers who are just trying to do their job and help you when you perform like that.
Damn. Give it to him, Gatch. Give it to him.
True.
Huh?
That's funny.
Oh, you said true, not true.
No, I said.
Yeah, Drew, what do you think?
That was pretty funny to hear the Hamilton radio all race. I just made a note in general there here. Just funny. And, they continue their stupidity.
I'm glad I heard him angry, dude. Like he's always been so nice.
Yeah, don't disagree.
Like it was good to hear some like balls come out of him. Like, shut up.
Yeah, for sure. We'll touch back too on the Leclerc radio in a second, which was ridiculous and definitely radio of the week. So I've got lap 17, Kimi spin out. Kimi Antonelli did a good loop-de-loop. He easily could have been totaled, but he managed to stick it on the brakes and keep it in and keep going, obviously leading to a P4, which is ridiculous. So yeah, just thought that was interesting to see a rookie actually be able to keep it out of the wall after losing control.
He was just lucky, dude.
That's
Like
the
any
thing
other
is-
turn on the track, he would have been in the wall. So
100%. And that's why I made a note of it, is I felt, he was the lucky rookie, but really all of them had issues today. That was not an easy race for any of them. So,
I think it
especially
was
rookies.
the combo of like strategy from being told when to like pit and stuff too. That probably helped him out. But
Oh, absolutely. I mean, safety cars also. I mean,
safety cars,
as
yeah,
we
it
know,
was just everything in play.
as we know, Gatch does not like safety cars. We've now found out.
Anti-safety car.
Not a fan.
Crazy mechanic.
It's like the only thing that shakes races up. Like, if that race had just kept going, we would have seen a McLaren 1-2 easy with like Max 30 seconds behind, and that would have been the race. But we got a
Boom,
good race.
deserved. Give it to him, dude.
I want to see virtual safety car more this season.
Yeah.
dude.
VSC would be nice. I mean, that race was especially tough just because of the rain.
Yeah.
I think they needed to deploy the safety car more than they probably would have wanted to.
Well, they didn't have any virtual safety cars, right? It was just all normal safety cars.
Yeah, I think that's because of the rain, though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of
it's
just got
brutal.
it. So that's obviously picking up at lap 17. Oscar also overtakes Max that lap. I said Max made a mistake, but it was still really slick. Really good overtake from Oscar. and the crowd absolutely lost it. Obviously, being an Australian, very cool to see an overtake on a former world champion. People lost their minds. I jumped out of my seat. It was pretty sick to see. And I think, honestly, going forward, Piastri's going to be a threat to Norris. Like, I think that'll be really interesting to see whether they deploy the team orders to kind of keep him behind early in the season. Because otherwise he's coming for him.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, please.
Because it already happened in this race, dude. So Piastri flew all the way back up to Norris, dude, right? Got within like less than a second, had, you know, the whole DRS open, everything, and then team orders. Like, all right, sit back. We want to, you know, hang out for a little bit because, you know, Max is right behind us. And then so he took it seriously, right? Like a good racer, good team player. And then he was 3+ seconds back, and then the team was like, okay, you're fine to race. It's like, dude, what?
Yeah, that was...
Bro worked his whole way up to him. Dude, on his home turf, first race of the year. Like, that is a dream scenario for the man, and you yoinked it from him.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't disagree. Those team orders came in very late. Let them race should have happened when they were in 0.5 seconds of each other, not 3 seconds. Like
immediately.
That does no good to Oscar to try and close a 3-second gap. It's just not going to happen.
No.
I mean, either way, he still went off track and fucked himself anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later too.
That set everything up for the rest of the race. Them telling him to not, or you know,
I think
them telling him to lay off did not cause him to go off the track.
No, but I actually...
No, absolutely not.
We'll revisit this later, but I do think that Norris going off is what caused him to go. Because I think he was just following his line, and he just happened to shoot off, and Norris corrected quicker because he was the lead car. And that's really the only difference. I think otherwise they would have both been beached.
If you're flying around with no one in front of you guys, it's a lot different.
Yeah, big time. Lap 20, I made a note. Red Bull asks Max to extend his tire a whole another 10 minutes to hit the next rain window. He did manage to do it, but I found it very funny at the time that they wanted him to go another 10 minutes on tires that he was already complaining about. Pretty crazy call from Red Bull to stay out there, but it did end up paying off. I have also, around that time, Liam did a nice overtake on Ocon that I thought was pretty slick. Obviously, Lawson is in the doghouse after this week, but that one moment definitely shined. Even though it was Ocon and even though he was in an ass. I thought that was a good overtake. I don't quite have the turn, but it was a good one. Anyways. Lap 25 is where I made the note for seat full of water. Must be the water. Let's add that to the words of wisdom. Definitely leading the polls for maybe radio message of the year so far. Definitely of race 1, but I think that has potential to be in the top 5 by the end of the season.
Bro, yeah, Lewis is not gonna like this shit.
That was arguably the stupidest thing I've ever heard a Ferrari mechanic say, and they've said some really stupid shit over the years. So,
well, you know, language barrier though, language barrier. That's all I have to say. I'm sure, you know, they're Italian and they probably couldn't think of what it was in time to explain it, you know, descriptively enough for him. But yeah, language barrier.
I think he was trying to say it must be the rain or whatever, but he was just being like, oh, it's all the water. I don't know.
So many water, he couldn't pick one, so he just said water again.
Rain, water, I mean, it's the same thing.
Either way, I thought Leclerc's little additive of let's add that to the words of wisdom really drove home the fact that he does not like his engineers and he thinks they're all boobs. It's pretty funny to hear him just openly talk about how stupid they are, basically, to their face.
Is he the same engineer as last year?
Another thing too, though, it's like, what did he want them to say?
Just
he's like, "Hey, I got water in my seat," and they're like, "Okay, so, I guess it's water."
What I had heard from, I don't know if you guys were watching the same broadcast as I was, but on F1 TV, what they had mentioned was it must be a water bottle leak. Like his little pouch probably ripped open and was pouring water on his seat.
Yeah.
Because you're really not supposed to, like, it's so aerodynamic. You're not getting rained on in there. It's
Right.
just getting blasted up and over. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna pull underneath you anyways, but
yeah. So interesting to hear little insight from the commentators there saying it might have been a water bottle, but either way, just a hilarious message and very stupid and silly of Ferrari again. I can't wait to see. Oh wait, I have a thing for this. Hold on.
Mamma mia!
There we go. I'm gonna do that every time Ferrari fucks up this entire season. I'll
Oh,
do
God.
a Mamma Mia.
Yeah, slam that button,
the
bro.
Mamma Mia
Yeah.
count.
I mean, I should have hit that 10 times already today. I'm sorry.
You
Slacking.
Now we know.
So that was lap 25. And obviously, feel free, guys, if you have any other things to jump in with for any of these laps. But I've got lap 28 is when Lewis complains to his race engineer to shut up again. He tells him, like, leave me to it, man. Really back off. I thought that was, again, especially only being like 5 to 10 laps after the last couple messages we heard from Lewis. Just really funny to hear him battling the whole time, being like, just let me drive, man.
Which I don't know if it was like F1 TV trying to like be like, oh my God, look at all the times that he's like having a conversation that's strange with his engineers. Like if other teams don't have the same kind of conversations when you're listening to like one person specifically, or if they're just trying to push it on us.
I'd imagine they do, but that was just
know.
a funny back and forth. I think they wanted us to stay in tune with that one.
Yeah. I mean, either way, Lewis is still getting used to having a new engineer from like what, 10 years,
Big time.
10-year relationship with like another one. So
Big time.
I'm sure it is partially real.
All right. Picking back up, lap 29, I have McLarens are officially lapping Oliver Behrman at the back of the pack in the Haas. Kind of crazy to see it only took 29 laps to do it, especially in the rain and all that. Although, you could argue the same for Behrman being inexperienced and all that. He might just be chugging along in the rain. But, yeah, lap 29, I mean, it feels like pretty much the Red Bull dominance we had the last 2 seasons. Do you guys have any thoughts on like how insanely far ahead they were before the safety cars?
I don't think it's comparable to the Red Bull like dominance, but like it still speaks volumes. Like I feel like Behrman was just trying not to crash, dude. Like, and that's what he should be doing, especially for a team like Haas, dude, when you have like zero budget for like parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it speaks more to the position that Haas and Behrman are in rather than Norris and Piastri. But dude, those guys were cooking all race.
They certainly
Yeah.
were.
Agreed. Well, yeah, and what Behrman and Antonelli were the only ones that made it to the end.
Yeah, I've got the official time sheet here. It says Behrman finished 40 seconds off of Norris. So
not that bad. I would have thought it would have been longer.
yeah, I think those safety cars really helped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro, they had a safety car like lap 51.
Yeah. So for
So
that,
Actually, yeah, 40
Good
seconds
point.
is absolutely atrocious.
so for him
So
to put up 40 seconds in basically
Yeah.
5 laps is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
Yeah. Good point. Next big thing I've got is Piastri, obviously sad as fuck, costing himself the race. He overshoots it in turn 6 on lap 32.
The home turf, man.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That was just this was just his one mistake. Actually, lap 44 is where he goes off. So Piastri did overshoot it on lap 32, but he managed to wiggle out of it. That was when the window to Lando opened, and they told him to go for it, and it was like, yeah, it's way too late. So just interesting to hear there, or see the difference there.
Wait, I have to butt in.
Oh yeah, please.
Did Fernando go off into the wall before that?
That was literally the next thing I was about to bring up.
Oh,
it's
okay.
on lap 34.
Okay. I was
Alonso
gonna say,
slams into the wall. safety car out, and it triggered the pit stop window for essentially every single car.
Everybody. Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone was staying out there for as long as they possibly could, and Alonso fortunately gave them the reprieve they needed to go in and pit. Interesting to see the different tire situations. Like, I know Ferrari stayed out there on their dries, and a couple other teams. Clearly, McLaren made the right call switching for the wets. But really interesting to see all the different... I mean, it seems like most of the pack knew that wets were the right call, but Ferrari being Ferrari just binned it and made a really dumb decision. So,
Mamma mia!
anyways.
Kind of like Beckham.
So, yeah, any thoughts on Ferrari being stupid there, or pit stop window, or just blaze on through?
Hamilton's, like I said, dude, I'm going to reiterate, Hamilton's going to get so fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
Ferrari engineers being
That's gonna
Ferrari
be tough.
engineers. Strategists.
So,
Last
we were...
day.
Sorry.
You're good. Go for it.
So safety car ends on lap 41 after 7 laps under safety. Quite a bit there. Gap obviously closes up. Gatch's least favorite part of the sport. Everyone is kind of on each other's ass, and that was obviously when Max's 16-second gap to Piastri really got cut down to essentially none. Interesting to see the startup there, but I don't have a ton to talk about until lap 44 when Piastri and Norris go off. But anything on the safety car there, or Alonso?
Nope.
All right.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to
Austin
see.
Martin being Austin Martin.
Yeah, and it sucks to see someone as experienced as Alonso go off, but that just goes to show how tough it was, I think, out there. Then I've got lap 44, Piastri and Norris go off. I'm sure we'll talk about this for a bit. I kind of had that attributed to a Norris mistake that Piastri kind of followed, and unfortunately Lando was able to recover a lot quicker, whereas Piastri kind of beached himself. But I don't know if you guys saw him trying to reverse it out of there, but that was like watching Rocky 1, 2, and 3 combined. I was on the edge of my seat just trying to get him back in the race.
Dude, it was impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of drivers would have just been like, this is it. I guess I quit. And it would have been, I mean, that's a Checo Perez in Mexico moment from last year, That's a,
Yeah, he didn't give up.
I fucked up and I guess I'm done. But he really gave it his all. Obviously coming back to finish 9th, which is crazy, but he was off the track for a good, 30 seconds there, it felt like.
It
It was a
seemed
long
like
time.
forever.
In
It was
front of Hamilton, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, tough to see. Obviously, Norris manages to scrape out away with that, but Piastri kind of binned his whole race right there. Turns it from a P2 to a P9, which is insane that he even got a P9. But finishing in the points, we'll take it. Probably not the race he would have wanted in Australia, especially considering he was pretty much gonna win. I think a lot of people had him like overtaking Norris pretty early on. But yeah, just interesting to see. Any thoughts on Piastri there?
No, dude. Like I said, I think if team orders didn't come into it, man, it would have been a whole race for him. Like, I don't think he had that fuck up. Yeah, and then like you even saw earlier, like after he was told to kind of back off of Norris, that first pit stop window under safety car, dude, they had to double stack.
Mm-hmm.
So like it would have kept him in front for like the rest of the race, dude. Like that messed him up so bad.
And I think Oscar had a slower pit stop too. I think they said that during the race too. So that kind
Slightly
of also
slower, yeah.
did not, benefit him. But I don't know.
They both went off,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then they both got back on,
Yes.
Yes,
and then
way
just Piastri
after.
couldn't clutch the next turn.
So
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I do think some of that's like the car length behind,
Yes, both of them going off the first part, you could, I guess, argue whatever, he's following his line or whatever. But then, like, if he's following his line, he should have been on the same track to stay on like he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree. I think Norris has the experience right now.
Oh.
But
Well,
I mean,
did Norris go through the grass like as far in as Oscar did? Like he spun out and got far into the grass.
I think Norris's
On
reaction.
the on the
Sorry,
second turn, he went back into the grass.
He was a passenger at that point, though, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you,
it's
you
hard.
you have no control over your car once you start spinning like that. And I honestly think he lost control because he saw Norris spin out in front of him. And that was
Yeah,
like,
but-
oh, shit.
But Norris went off the first time and didn't go off the second time, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because
Like Norris was able to maintain control.
Piastri slid sooner in the turn because Norris spun out in front of him.
Okay, then he should have been following the line tighter.
I think we're gonna
He
agree
might
to
have been
disagree.
braking. He might have been braking heavier though. At a
I'm just
certain
saying you can't be like, yeah, I was off track. This is all Norris's fault.
I think my personal feeling on it is Norris was able to react faster because he knew that it was coming, whereas, Piastri wouldn't have realized that he was going to go off track until he was already off track. So, like, the split millisecond of turning before realizing what's happening probably made all the difference.
That could have been it too, dude. We don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I do. I was in the car with him.
Either way, crazy to see. Tough for Piastri there, but I'm sure he'll come back. Not really a problem.
Yeah.
That's also when I have Lando pulling off for inters and Max pulling out into the lead on the slicks. Obviously came back to bite them a little bit as Lando kind of gained a lot of time on Max following that. But just interesting to see Ferrari and Max stay out there.
And Yuki.
Yeah, yep. That's why I have at lap 46, I have shit hitting the fan. I have Max as P1, Lewis P2, Gasly P3, Tsunoda P4, Leclerc, and then Norris, who ended up obviously becoming our race winner. So, from lap 46 to lap 57, a lot happened.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing where Hamilton was all of a sudden in second place.
Yeah. And I
I think
think
Yuki was in second for like 10 seconds too.
yeah. Crazy to see that as a strategy to try and stay out there in the rain, but I feel like if you have no other option, and they probably were getting a little desperate, so they sent it, but
I don't know.
yeah, that was wild
I
to see.
think Yuki could have placed so much higher up if they just pitted.
Oh, I'm sure he could have.
And it hurts me so bad because he was doing so well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he
qualified
still did.
so well.
He still
He
did
did
insane.
fine, but I don't know.
I mean, 12th is pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, but that's his normal. I feel
Yeah.
like that's normal
That's
Yuki
fair.
is 12th place.
that's fair.
Like he probably could have been up with like Stroll, or even further than Albon.
I
What?
can't believe. No, you're not wrong. I can't believe Stroll did good.
That's what I mean. Like,
Dude, fuck
it's
Stroll.
strategy. It was strategy at that point.
The only driver I hate more than George Russell is Lance Stroll.
Yeah. Definitely.
Is 12th really that good when 5 people wall out?
Well, that's what I mean.
It's not great. It's not great.
It's not great. It's just normal.
But he's
like,
in an RB, so
racing ball. But that's normal racing ball.
That
was like last year.
Yeah, I mean that's fairly standard considering where they were. I've
That's
got
really the highest he's placed. Sorry.
No, sorry, no, you're good.
I just
6
love
people
Yuki.
are walled out, actually, correction.
I just love Yuki. And I think that's like fifth is like the highest he's placed in qualifying, probably like ever. I don't have a fact check, but it's got to be up there. All right, I'm done. I'm done now.
No, please, you're good. So I've got lap 47 now. By then, Norris had gone from P6 back up to second place, and he was already heading towards first. He did end up overtaking Hamilton and Leclerc during that lap to become P1 again. So a quick one-lap swap over. Obviously, McLaren making the right choice with tires there, and every other team not making the right choice. So interesting to see them making the right call, I guess. And also good for me personally, being a McLaren fan. It's just nice to see things clicking. I think it's their season to lose, honestly.
Dude, honestly, like, I mean, granted, they've had their problems with like team wars and stuff in the past couple of years, but they are from the top teams. They're the only team that has like really improved their like garage, like as far as like making the right calls, like this, that, and the other dude, like tires, strategy, all that.
Yeah, it's great to see. Uh, then I've got lap 47 also, Lawson smashing into the wall.
Yep.
Kind of cool that he made it to lap 47, I guess, but yeah, that was tough to watch.
If you want first or last, buddy.
And then Bortoletto in the same breath literally also smashed into a wall. So we lost 2 good drivers in lap 47.
R.I.P.
We can give a quick thoughts on that. I personally think Lawson is gonna be gone by race 5. Just knowing how Red Bull operates and how vicious Helmut Marko is, that is not going to be the kind of performance that keeps him here.
Bro, if I'm being honest though, like I feel like Checo would have done the same thing.
He would
like so like and Checo lasted like what, like 2 seasons there, 3 seasons. So like I feel like he could last. I don't know.
I think that the patience is worn thin though. I think they're going to be kind of.
I also think he's way better.
I mean,
I think he's way better than I don't know. I think he's way better than Checo.
Lawson a rookie or no?
No,
He's not.
He's a rookie in that he's never started the season in a car, but he's had the most practice out of any rookie ever. Like he did like a half season last year, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was formerly in the Racing Bull, or the smaller sister team.
Yeah.
But it's like, do we think it's the car? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems weird that like two like pretty good drivers are doing this bad in a notoriously fast and good car.
I'm starting to think that it's Max. It's 100% Max. I'm starting to think that car is like an Alpine, but Max is like that good.
Yeah.
If it was the car, don't you think it would have happened before lap 47?
True.
Yeah, but
I mean,
if it was
the car, dude,
he was already
like.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dude, like if see, my problem is if it was the car, dude, the Hasses wouldn't have finished because that's like the worst car on the grid. Hulkenberg finished.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not the car because if it was the car, it would have happened well before lap 47. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, all right, good.
It's not the car. It's Liam.
I just want to get Yuki in there. I feel like he'd be a good baseline for like what can be done in a Red Bull versus a Racing Bull.
I think Yuki will get promoted, but it'll end up being a bad thing because
he's
gonna get taken out in also 5 races.
I know. That's like my worst nightmare.
That's what I think happens.
Like, I want him to be promoted, but I also know that if you do not perform, like, that could be the end of Formula One in general for him. So,
all right, I'm gonna fire through the last couple laps of this race now, and we can just do a quick talk on that. So I've got safety car ending on lap 51. Leclerc overtaking Hamilton was pretty sketchy right around that time. 55, Piastri climbs back into the points, into P10, which was pretty cool to see. And for lap 56 and 57, I wrote, "Holy shit, Max is on Lando's dick. Run, 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 run." So I guess I was feeling the anxiety right about then. Max has come back from much worse than that, especially with the aid of the safety cars. Pretty cool to see the chase happening, even though I think everyone's under the impression that Red Bull is nowhere near as good as that McLaren. But Max is just insane. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the race. Antonelli gets a 5-second penalty after the race for a 5-second release, which drops him below Albon to P5, and then it was later reinstated and put him back at P4. It was a little bit crazy, but that was where we ended the race.
Dude.
So we've got top 10, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Albon, Antonelli, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Leclerc, Piastri, Hamilton and Gasly in P11 just missing out.
Did we see Piastri's overtake on Lewis Hamilton? That was absurd where that happened.
It was
Yeah,
pretty.
that was
Yeah,
good.
it was crazy.
And like the disrespect on like the last lap of the race, dude, to like overtake Lewis Hamilton like that. Like that was incredible.
I love it.
I stood up and clapped, dude. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole thing.
Dude, yeah.
Him
Yeah.
coming all the way back to 9th place and swinging by Hamilton to do it. That was like the best part of the race for me.
He like took off part of his front wing too, dude. Like I'm taking it.
that was crazy. I loved it.
He's a beast. I love this guy. He's going to be like forced to be reckoned with for the next few seasons. He's going to be a problem. Yeah, so that's our race results. I do want to just have a quick mention every week. I want to do who came in last here. Which we had a lot of DNFs, so I'm not going to count any of them. But we've got Behrman in last. That sucks for him. Not sure that we're going to see much different out of him, though. So, yeah, pretty fucking crazy race. That was really fun to watch. Great season opener. I loved that it was in Australia, not the Middle East. Big fan of that.
Big fan of Australia.
Yeah, not a big fan of the Middle East personally, so pretty cool.
Not a big fan of midnight races though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's tough for us on the East Coast here.
Yeah, you wake up and you watch it at 8 a.m. Just don't look at your phone. It's fair enough.
Yeah, I had the race spoiled for me a little bit heading into it because
What?
Yeah, you literally can't open anything.
Both of you posted the winner on your Instagram stories. What do you mean? You guys spoiled it.
That was
You
post
guys
race.
spoiled it.
That was post race.
Okay, imagine you don't get a chance to watch the race and you scroll on Instagram and you see the winner. How are you going to feel?
That's how I see the winner every week, actually.
Don't scroll on me.
And I hate it.
Nah, I can't believe y'all just said that after what you guys did.
If it's before 11 a.m., don't go to Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to say,
You haven't
Sunday
watched
mornings,
it.
you just can't.
Any social media. Don't go to it.
Nothing.
You're gonna get
You
spoiled.
guys contribute to the problem. That's all I'm saying.
You're part of the problem.
It
You're
was at
part of the
10
problem.
o'clock.
Was it still
It
a
was-
fun race at least?
It was like
Can you
10
at least...
hours.
It was a pretty good race, right, Gatch? You could at least...
It was, but I knew the winner already.
Yeah, so did I. Again, I did too. But-
Gatch, I gave you my F1 TV, so
Part of the problem.
fine, I'll take it away.
Fantastic race this week. Thank you guys again for doing this and joining me. I do want to do a quick predictions for next week in
China.
So hopefully we could just go through a quick 1, 2, 3, and maybe a P10 and P20. You know, who's gonna be the absolute sucker? Who's gonna finish last in points? And then your 1, 2, 3. Just to wrap up the show here, and then we'll call it a day.
All right.
We'll start with Drew and go same order we've been doing.
Dude, so this is going to be a hot take, and there's actually a path for this to happen. So, Zhou Guan Yu, P1,
China.
So, I think the CCP is going to take out Charles Leclerc, put him down with some illness. They won't kill him, but he's the reserve driver for Ferrari. And I think that car is competitive. So, Zhou Guan Yu 1. Then we're looking at Kimi Antonelli 2, and then Max Verstappen 3.
Wow.
What about your 10 and 20?
Oh, 10 and 20. All right, 10, we're looking at Nico Hulkenberg, and then 20, the Hajar guy, because he's just going to crash before the race even starts again.
Rough.
Yeah, let's say instead of 20, we'll say lowest that isn't a DNF. Because,
Ooh.
because
Okay.
I don't want to, we could lose another 5 drivers next week, and then none of that would matter. So we'll just say who's going to be in, like this week it was Behrman, So,
Like last to finish, you mean?
yeah, last to finish, last to cross
Okay.
the line. Barring any
Okay.
freak accidents that give him a DNF. Allie, how about you?
All right. Well, I guess I'm banking on if there's no rain, so I'm just gonna wish for that. But I have Norris as P1, Verstappen as P2, and Piastri as P3. Very basic answer to most races, but I have a feeling the second race isn't going to be as exciting. Or, I mean, I feel like
I
it
don't
can't
think
be
it could
anyways,
possibly
but
be.
it can't be. I don't think that any of the other races for the rest of the season are going to be as exciting as the first one. But and then I have Yuki just hitting the points in P10 and Bortoletto in last
Damn.
because I don't have faith in that kick.
And Gatch?
Just say Norris P1, Piastri P2, Verstappen P3. I'll say Tsunoda P10, and I'll say Behrman P20.
Okay. I'll wrap up. I've got Norris and Piastri P1 and 2, Max P3. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that lineup this season. That's going to be the new, what was it last year? Max, or Verham Leck or whatever. I forget. So I think that's going to be a lot of our top three. I've got P10. I honestly think it's going to be Jack Doohan. I've got a little bit of a surprise coming from him. I think,
all right.
you know, just a little bit of points. I'm not expecting much, but I think he's got to do something. And then honestly, in 20, I've got Behrman. I like him, but Haas looks ass this year, so that's where I've got him. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Looking good.
That'll work.
Nobody for Carlos in the P10.
Hey,
I
well,
thought somebody would have been Carlos.
we'll see.
He's my backup P10.
So fantastic race. Any other closing thoughts or anything? Or are we calling it there? I think we're good.
If you're listening, say hello to your mother for me.
Oh shit.
Hey. Hey.
Wow.
Don't say hello. Say I love you to your mother for me. Okay. That's what we need. We need a little bit.
Call
Sentiment.
your mother if you haven't
Yeah.
talked to her in a while,
Maybe that's our
Yeah.
sign off. Maybe every week.
and then
we go,
tell her
"Call
I
your
say
mother."
hi.
Hey, Gatch.
Call
Gatch.
your mother.
What's the
Yeah.
difference between jelly and jam?
Tell your girlfriend.
Oh hell no!
I don't know if you can say it here.
Don't say it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Save it. All right.
No,
Bye,
don't
everyone.
say it.
We're gonna take off.
Bye.
Bye.